The next thing that we are going to speak about is the ideal gas laws. Now, before we go into the ideal gas laws, we have to first understand what is an ideal gas. And for that matter, when we are talking about any gas, we know how a gas exists at molecular level. That the molecules are constantly in motion and they can just go from one end to the other and occupy that space. So by nature, a gas is something that can occupy any kind of space. It doesn't have limitations of that volume. Wherever you just leave it, it will occupy the entire space. So that is how the nature of a gas is. Now when we talk about ideal gases, there are a few conditions when we define ideal gas. Now for all the analysis or for all the laws that we are considering or we are going to learn now, we consider that the gas is ideal. Now let's understand the conditions for ideal gas. So basically there are two conditions. One condition is that we consider that any mass that is existing is a point mass. So when I consider any mass as a point mass, I consider that the entire mass is concentrated at that point as a point mass and practically there is no volume. So we don't consider any kind of volume for this mass. That's the first condition. Second condition is when we consider the interaction between the molecules in a gas, there is no attraction or repulsion between them, and hence we consider that the collisions taking in between them are elastic in nature. Now we consider that the collisions that are taking place in between them are elastic in nature, and because they are elastic, the law of conservation of energy is followed. So energy is conserved as a result of since we consider that the collisions are elastic, energy is definitely conserved. Now if you are following these two laws, then definitely we'll have to talk about the parameters like volume, temperature and pressure. Now we have dealt with volume and temperature initially. Pressure, when we talk about the pressure, we have to understand that if you are considering any container, and let's say that in that particular container we have filled a gas. Now what will be happening is all these molecules are traveling here and there. And suppose this impacts over here, this goes and hits, it means that there will be a collision between the wall of the container and the molecule. And as a result of it, definitely there will be some force exerted over here on the wall. And this force exerted per unit area is the pressure that we are talking about in this condition. Now let us understand the ideal gas laws. The first one being Boyle's law. Now when we are considering Boyle's law, we assume that the temperature is constant. Now if the temperature is constant at constant temperature, which can also be called as isothermal process. Now in an isothermal process, what exactly happens is pressure is inversely proportional to volume. So it's like if the volume is increasing, the pressure will decrease, and if the pressure is increasing, the volume will decrease. You can understand this by taking an example of a balloon filled with air. Now when we consider this situation, we can say that this is some constant times V, and as a result of it we can say that PV is a constant. Now if we draw the graph of pressure versus volume, PV graph as we know it, which is a very important tool to analyze any particular process in thermodynamics in heat. So pressure versus volume graph will be something like this, which is a hyperbola, and this graph just shows that one quantity is inversely proportional to the other quantity. Now if we consider the pressure, if we consider PV, the quantity PV versus any quantity, either pressure or you can consider volume, anything, it just means that it will be a straight line, because we know that with any kind of variation in pressure or volume, this quantity, pressure into volume, will remain a constant because of this equation. Now, if PV is a constant, definitely it won't change over a period of time or with the increasing pressure or the increasing volume. So, these two graphs are important with respect to the Boyle's law. Let's go to the next law, and that is Charles' law. So, in Charles' law, the constant quantity is the pressure. Pressure is constant. So, if the pressure is constant, then we can analyze between V and T graph. So, according to the ideal gas equation, which is PV equals to nRT, which we are going to analyze, you can see that if pressure is constant, then volume is directly proportional to temperature, and as a result of it, it will be a straight line. Of course, this should not be touching 0. So, this just means that pressure is a constant. If you are considering the ratio of V by T versus anything, volume or temperature, let's consider volume for that matter, it will be a straight line, because we know that since volume is directly proportional to temperature, we can say V by T is a constant. So, this is the main equation which is pertaining to Charles' law. Of course, again over here we consider that this is not touching, because this would just mean that there is no volume absolutely, which is practically not possible, and so the analysis starts at a point where there is some volume. Now, here there is a change, and the graph is between V by T versus pressure or temperature. So, with the variation of pressure or temperature, any quantity, V by T is always going to be constant. Let us go to the next law, wherein we are considering the volume as constant. By the way, if we consider this process, this is called, when the pressure is constant, it's an isobaric process. So, the process corresponding to this is isothermal, the process corresponding to this is isobaric. Now, we will consider the pressure law. So, in pressure law, what we consider is the volume is constant. So, when the volume is constant, we say that it's an isochoric process. So, basically we are talking about isochoric process in this. Let's consider the graph of, since the volume is constant, you can see that pressure will be directly proportional to temperature, and hence we can say that P by T is a constant in this case. So, if you are drawing a graph of pressure versus temperature in this case, it's going to be a straight line. Just means that pressure directly varies with the change in temperature. And then when we are talking about the other process, that is the graph between P by T versus pressure or temperature, you can see that P by T is a constant. So, it's going to be this kind of a graph. So, any problem corresponding to this particular situation can be handled, and can be said that it is P1 by T1 equals to P2 by T2. This is the relation that we use in any problem pertaining to Gay-Lussac's law or pressure law. So, till now we have seen the Boyle's law, Charles' law and the pressure law. If we combine all of them together, then what we get is the ideal gas equation, which is PV equals to nRT. Now this is the pressure, volume, this is the number of moles, and this is the temperature, absolute temperature as we call it, and R is universal gas constant, whose value is 8.31 joules per mole Kelvin, or it can be written as 2 calories per mole Kelvin. Now, how do we find the number of moles? So it's the total mass, the given mass divided by the molar mass of the gas. The next law is the Avogadro law. Now, what does it say? If we consider two gases at equal temperature and pressure, then the number of molecules per unit volume, that is this ratio, number of molecules or number of moles per unit volume, will be the same. Now let's analyze. So if for one gas we can write the equation PV1 equals to N1 RT. So we're keeping the pressure and temperature same. And for the other gas, we're going to write PV2 equals to N2 RT. So here you can clearly see that pressure and temperature do not change, and hence this parameter, that is N1 by V1, is going to remain the same. Now you can see for yourself that we can write an equation from the first one, N1 by V1 is P by RT, and similarly for this one we can write N2 by V2 is P by RT. Now for all gases which have equal volumes, we can say that the number of molecules that exist in that particular volume, we can say that is 22.4 liters. If we consider 22.4 liters at standard temperature and pressure, this consists of 6.023 into 10 raised to 23 molecules of any substance. So at a fixed temperature and pressure, this ratio is going to remain the same, N1 by V1, N2 by V2. Now at this particular this parameter that is given, 22.4 liters, for that at that particular volume, the number of molecules existing is 6.023 into 10 raised to 23. This is also called the Avogadro number. So if you find the mass of the gas, existing at this particular volume, then it will give you the mass in grams of the gas, and that will be the molecular weight of that gas at STP. Now what is STP? Standard temperature and pressure. So standard temperature and pressure is 1 atmosphere pressure and 273 Kelvin. These are the conditions at STP. Now let's speak a little more on the topic of Charles' law, Boyle's law, and let's look at it from a different perspective. Now if we consider the Boyle's law, we consider that the temperature is a constant over there. Now of course the temperature is constant, but then we're talking about Charles' law. So in Charles' law, V by T is a constant, that's what we said. And how do we come to this equation actually? So ideally the relation that we have is this. So at a particular temperature, if this is the volume, then there is a temperature rise, and along with the temperature rise there will be a volume rise also. So if you want to find the new volume, then this is the new volume, this is the original volume, and this is the change in temperature. Now if we write this relation, this is alpha. Alpha is actually given the value as 1 by 273. Now this alpha is actually volume coefficient of gas. So it just means that for every degree rise, for every degree centigrade rise in temperature, there will be so much rise in the volume. So this is the rise in volume per degree centigrade. Just similarly, if we compare Charles' law and pressure law next, we can say that if we are trying to analyze the change in pressure, so this is of course for the Charles' law. For the pressure law, the expression will vary like this. So it will become Pt is P naught into 1 plus beta T, where the expression now beta is having the same importance as this, and the value of beta is actually 1 by 273. So it is like the pressure coefficient of gas. Now let's analyze the graph for this. So if you just consider Vt is V naught into 1 plus alpha into 1 by T by 273, because we just said that alpha is this value. So substituting over there, we just write the equation for two gases. So V1, you can say that it is Vt1 is V naught into 1 plus T1 by 273. This will be the first equation. And second equation, Vt2 is going to be V naught into 1 plus T2 by 273. Now when we divide the two equations, what we get is Vt1 by Vt2 is equal to T1 plus 273 by T2 plus 273. So this is nothing but the equation that we were talking about initially. And T1 plus 273, here T1 is in degree centigrade, and what we considered in the equation for Charles' law was in Kelvin. So this gives us the absolute value in Kelvin. This is the absolute value in Kelvin. So this is temperature T1 and this is T2. So that is how we arrive at that relation. Same relation can be derived with respect to the pressure law as well. Now let's talk about the density. So density is one important parameter that we haven't spoken about till now. So if we go to the equation over here, we get PV equals to nRT, that is the basic expression. And so pressure, this we can write as mass by volume, and this is number of moles. So we can write it as mass by molar mass. So you can clearly see that density is mass by volume. So volume is mass by density. So this should be density. And so mass and mass cancels, and what we get is rho is Pm by RT. So that is the equation which we will use to analyze how the density varies with the change in parameters over here. The first one is temperature and mass being constant. So if the temperature and mass is constant, then what we get is, if this temperature and mass both are constants, that means R is already a constant. So we can say that rho is directly proportional to the pressure. And so the graph will be something like this, wherein mass, temperature both are constants. This is the variation of rho with pressure. Now if suppose pressure is a constant and mass is also a constant, now that would mean that rho is inversely proportional to the temperature. And so now our graph will be a hyperbola, which is rho, variation of rho with temperature.